It's movie time. We're back again with movie time. Hey everybody, how you doing? Hopefully you had a wonderful couple of days, and we are back again with another Friday evening of movie time. With me, of course, is my co-host Olaf. Olaf, how you doing?
I, well, it's Friday. I think I'm doing okay. I've not had a chance to stop long enough to really know how I am today, but it's another great day in the wonderful state of Indiana. And it's
Awesome.
Friday.
Yes, it is. It's Friday movie time, and with
It's
us
like
also,
and I made it in the nick of time. I just got home 5 minutes ago.
yeah, like literally by the skin of your teeth.
Yep.
And we also have with us our co-host Arpo. Hey Arpo, how you doing?
Oh, 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 oh boy, man, that hurt. All right, buddy. We'll see you on Friday.
We are on Friday.
Wow, I was out for longer than I thought. Well, wait a minute. This isn't the same cabin I was in. Where am I?
You've been moved.
We moved in one place.
Just, just having some fun, folks. Yes, of course. See, there's the window from
Yep.
the other day. Okay, yes, I'm in the same cabin.
Yes. And we
Who's
also
that?
have a live studio audience member too for
We have a
this.
live studio
Hey,
audience.
Catherine.
We're only allowed to do a. We're not allowed to do a close-up shot, but
So, who's that in the window behind you?
That's Laura.
oh, that's Wayne Gretzky, I think.
Yeah. So he's in a cottage in the woods. La 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 la. And tonight we have a jam-packed show for you all to enjoy. But we're going to get into our
Some peanut butter to go
deepest.
with it. Then we can make
Yeah.
sandwiches.
Then we have our deepest, most heaviest issue for last. The one that everybody has all been waiting for, which we left the
Right.
question on Wednesday. What the heck is going on? But first, we have a very different other. What the heck is going on? SAG aftra party politics challenged in dispute over board replacements. Ooh, sounds like SAG and aftra are back at it again, folks.
After they just kissed and made up a few years ago.
And who said that the marriage wouldn't last?
Yeah.
Ooh, ask me. Yeah, it seems like they break up and make up more than they actually stick together. But in this, it's actually a controversial article. It's
That's right. Because they keep changing the rules.
Yep. And it's politics as usual for SAG and AFTRA in the wake of the union's recent decision, with several top vote getters stepping down from their national and local board seats and handing them over to members of their own political factions. First of all, I didn't realize that there was a Democratic and Republican Party within SAG and AFTRA. But hey, now we know.
Now we know.
I guess that they call it's like they don't even name what these factions are. Are we supposed to be choosing a faction? It's like when you choose a faction, do you get to go over to the other faction, or do all of the factions remain separate? And like, do they all have their purposes in life? And one faction
If one faction goes on strike, does that mean the other faction gets all the jobs? I mean, how does that work? I want to know.
Yeah, and which faction has the brain? It's like so. Who does the intelligence? Which faction does the intelligence thinking?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say neither, judging from this article.
Because basically they said what's not usual, however, is that this year the complaint has been filed alleging that and this is a very new word for me, cronyism and election fraud.
That's cronyism, folks.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chips. You're welcome.
Yes. It's like cronyism. See, now we should have all been yelling cronyism during our regular election, but apparently they just do it during SAG elections.
Yeah.
That's something, and it happens, I guess, in Europe too. The complaints were filed in the union by Peter Antico, who finished third in the race for president. S.A. Morales, who finished second, has vowed to file a similar complaint to the U.S. Department of Labor. Woo.
Now,
Okay,
now
so
wait a minute. Let me get this straight. One came in third and one came in second, and they're threatening
the
to
first
file
place
for
guy.
legal action because they didn't get the post.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sorry. Isn't the whole point of the election that the person who gets the most votes gets to be the president?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
No.
Are we talking popular or electoral votes? Maybe
Well,
that's the problem.
I don't know. This is where the huge debate comes in. Isn't this getting good, Olaf? Like, aren't we embroiled here into this deep controversy?
Hold on.
Yes,
Wait, what?
this is very deep. Very deep, yes.
Did you know that there were factions?
Um, I can't answer that uh, on the grounds that it may incriminate me and all that. So I'm not at liberty to speak yes or no.
Okay. So the
I
union.
learned facts when I was in the fourth grade. You know, like 1/4 of 1/4 equals 1/2.
Yeah. Oh, and now they're even naming the factions. Check this out: United for Strength, and the other one is Members First, Moving Forward.
Membership First is the minority party, so that's what the one that all the women
Yes.
and Hispanics and all that are in, right?
I don't know. Apparently, there are two factions.
Maybe they
And,
should call it the
yeah,
diversity party.
and apparently they've been bickering for years. And a permanent for and the best way to name permanent board replacements, all of this, the whole rulings and back and forth. Wow, no wonder the chick from Little House on the Prairie wound up being, that Melissa Gilbert was like their most steadiest president. Gabrielle Carteris is the current one. So it's like I'm not sure whatever happened now with this vote, and how did S.A. Morales get involved in this whole entire thing? It's like, isn't he busy doing CSI?
I didn't know CSI was still on. You mean
Yeah,
NCIS?
yeah.
Because those are two different shows, NCIS and
No,
CSI.
he wasn't doing NCIS. He did CSI, I believe. I don't know. One of those shows. But I know that he was currently doing one. Which shows exactly how many crime dramas I actually watch. If it's not Blind Spot, I don't watch it. Or Blacklist. I'm only up to my B's, I guess, in my crime dramas. Oh no, there is the exception: Law and Order SVU. So there you go. It's like it's and it would be more like a democratic for replacement chosen in the ranks, and the next highest vote getter. This year, the two highest non-winners in the national board were both members of the Members First Party, with one of them, who received 3,999 votes, falling just 8 votes short of the seat of national board. Neither of them, however, was chosen as a board replacement. Electoral government party, anybody? And prior to the election, apparently, every candidate signed a consent to serve form, which, by the way, if you want the full story of this, you should go on to deadline.com, because this is really embroiled in, like, really, just quite a little debate on SAG aftra. First you marry each other, then you debate for years. Now you're breaking up into factions. So who do you go with, mommy or daddy?
You just sit in the corner and cry.
Yeah. Are they both right? Are neither one of them right?
I can see why you're confused, by the way. He's been a regular on NYPD Blue, on 24. He's been a regular all kinds of cop shows here.
Yes.
Criminal Minds, Chicago PD. Yeah, it's like, name a cop show. He's been on it.
Exactly. I thought he'd be too busy to worry about, petty little things like that.
Well, it's the principle of the thing.
Who knows? It's like, should I say good luck to Peter Antico, or gosh, I hope that there's a lawyer that actually comes on the show and can figure this out. Maybe perhaps an actor that can figure out this thing for us. I invite any actor who actually understands what's going on with their own union to please come aboard our show so that we can figure out what the hell is going on with your union. Because it sounds like mommy and daddy are fighting, and neither one of them are happy. And we, the children of the producers part of this, would just like the children to get mommy and daddy to get along. After all, it is our productions, after all. So, which brings us to our very second interesting story tonight. And this one, Olaf, how many times have we spoken about copyright?
At least a dozen.
At least a dozen times. Because now...
I was going to say 2, as in too many times.
Mm-hmm. Only this particular thing really does go very current. U.S. government, Hollywood studios weigh in on dispute exploring range of U.S. copyright laws. Now, this has been debated. It's like Gordon Firemark had an amazing episode about this on his law podcast. So if you really want to hear a really deep discussion on this, it's like I would highly recommend listening to his podcast. But this happened to be on Hollywood Reporter. So we are going to get somewhat of a not so deep level. But if you want the legal debates on this, of where exactly U.S. copyright reaches over, and how do the things get protected across borders, I would highly recommend that you listen to his podcast, his Entertainment Law Update podcast. And I'm kind of hoping that Gordon may even pop in on us to, debate some of these issues out for us, because God knows, like, okay, they're strange. And by the way, just as a side note, did anybody notice that when they were using the habits for the nuns in the new series of Handmaid's Tale, that they all look like the ones that are recycled from the Flying Nun?
I actually thought that maybe they were actually making a remake of the Flying Nun and just calling it the Handmaid's Tale so that nobody would know.
Yeah. It's like, why the only thing it needs is the external up wings. Because they look like they could scoop ice cream with their heads.
Aye, indeed.
So basically what it is it's streaming of a Polish broadcaster's programming is making for an exciting appeal. A judge, judging by the papers filed in the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit this week, the dispute is over streaming of a Polish broadcaster's programming is likely to become an important one. The U.S. government is warning that it could hamper the ability of the Justice Department to crack down on large-scale criminal piracy abroad. So, in other words, are they trying to they are trying to get all the way out abroad to extend the U.S. copyright, which is really hard to endorse in a lot of other countries, where it's much more loosey-goosey, the laws in regards to that, of how much jurisdiction you can have. There are certain places that have treaties and understandings regarding copyright being transitioning over, but not every place. That's the long and short of it. But Disney, Fox, Warner Brothers, and the leading trade groups in the music industry are hoping that the Federal Appeals Court clarifies the proof of infringement doesn't require what's known as volitional conduct.
Volitional.
Volitional conduct.
Thank you, Mr. Tip. You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chips. Yes. It's like volitional conduct. Yet another new word for me, volitional. So in the case, it's like, and again,
Yeah, that's
yes,
right. 100 times this weekend now. You understand that?
yes, I do know that. I already have.
Okay.
I already wrote the word volitional in the other one as well. So
Okay.
okay. In this case, it's more than 2 decades in the making. So basically, what they're trying to debate in this article is that filing regarding how far does your copyright go. So it's like basically what it's saying is seeing a threat to the value of its license. CEI filed a copyright lawsuit, and ultimately it resulted in a $3.6 million award against TVP for wrongfully infringing on SCI's U.S. inclusive rights in public performances. So what actually does deal with public performances, not public performances, copyrights? This is all becoming one of those, okay, so you have rights in your own country. You have rights between crossing borders of other countries. There are treaties that it's naturally understood that your rights are extended to other places. But there are places that are very ambiguous about that. Do you send your product there? Do you not send your product there? If you send your product there and they pirate it, and then it winds up back into a place that did have the copyrights, because nobody ever pirates anything anymore, do they?
No, nobody ever pirates anything anymore.
No.
I do not pirate anything. I am not a pirate. R. Ignore that hook on my hand. I am not a pirate.
That's right. Because piracy is illegal.
That's right. And it's against the law.
Yes, it is. So basically, one deals with the search of U.S. copyright laws. So it's well established that the law of the Copyright Act does not apply extraterritorially. So basically, again, some people honor it, some people don't. It's like acts committed abroad, even if they would be actionable if performed in the U.S., cannot form the basis of a U.S. copyright infringement suit. The acts of the TVP that the district court found to be infringing were TVPs uploaded in multiple formats of 51 episodes of a TVP VOD system. So basically, a video on demand system for all of us who do, for all those out there. And system.
You notice that told us what TVP stands for.
Yes, they did not say what TVP stands for.
Oh, yes, they did actually, but you
go ahead.
Because you probably couldn't pronounce it. It's Telewizja Polska.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There you go. So it's like which the district court erroneously found to remove geo-blocking for those episodes. See, because it's like they just decided to flick the switch. However, the district court acknowledged that all of TVP's acts occurred in Poland. Even these acts would be performed by the TVP under the U.S. copyright law if they were done in this country. They were outside of the country, so therefore the district court concluded that the TVP was that it was liable under the Copyright Act, which really, that's a debate. If it happens outside of Vegas, did it really happen at all inside Vegas? Because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but when you get outside of Vegas, I don't know.
And if it falls in the forest, is that why I have a splitting headache?
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
So basically, there is a lot of controversy going on with this. The U.S. has a big reason to weigh in on the case. The government says that it implicates the ability of the Department of Justice to prosecute large-scale criminal piracy of copyrighted work by entities located abroad and that stream copyrighted work over the internet to viewers in the United States. Okay. How many years have we had pirated videos that have been streamed on YouTube?
Since before I was born.
Yeah. It's like, There is a lot of legal, not legal. It's like there's a lot to, and like I said, my hands fall on the side of the whole, copyright and piracy. It's like piracy bad, copyright good. But yet at the same time, you know what? It's like you cannot control all jurisdictions of what they do. That's left for debate of that particular country, apparently. So
Yeah.
they're saying because
Which is why you can see a lot of Spanish television on YouTube.
yeah,
It's because there's nobody to stop them. It
exactly.
doesn't violate the U.S. copyright laws.
No, because as long as it was done there, you can't
Yeah.
cross. It's like again, they have the same issues of rights across borders. Now, if that weren't enough to reason to pay attention to the case, TVP makes a second argument that provides a bit of the sequel to Arrow. Aereo, it's like I don't know if any of you actually followed the Aereo case, referring to the 2014 Supreme Court opinion holding that Barry Diller had led the streaming company that infringed broadcasting public performance rights. Since the decision there is a controversy over whether the copyright plaintiffs must show that
Conduct.
exactly volitional conduct. I'm trying the English version because really English is my first language, but not tonight apparently. Or an act caused by the infringement to occur, which is claiming that the tech service violated copyrighted material. So this is another thing. If it's out there on the internet, and it's cyberspacing from someplace else, is it still protected? So, U.S. government.
Well, pirates would say no. If it's in cyberspace, then it's available to anyone.
Exactly.
That's where the whole that's what the whole piracy argument is, folks. In case you weren't clear about what they're thinking or what they're feeling, they're saying if it's in cyberspace, then it should be available to everyone for free.
Yes. They're basically saying that once you left the jurisdiction of the United States and you went to a different jurisdiction or you put it out in cyberspace, everybody should be able to grab it. We're not necessarily so.
Yeah, but that's why most piracy sites have their servers in Europe.
Yes. Very, very true. So it's like, first, nothing in the Copyright Act requires proof of the defendants acting in that manner liable to direct infringement. But do we really want to go down this road? Warner's, the RIA, and the National Music Publishers Association. Second, the Supreme Court rejected the very same arguments from in the specific content of the infringement in the public performance rights of transmitting programming to users over the internet. So there is a lot that has to be dealt with in this particular situation. And oh my goodness, I'm sure we're going to be hearing more about the blurred lines case. Wow. Which I just noticed right now. And I can't wait to hear the next podcast about the blurred lines case that never ends. So that one, you definitely want to go to the Entertainment Law update for that because I'm pretty sure that they'll talk about this one.
Yeah, definitely. That's eek.
Yeah.
Robin Farrell Williams are in trouble.
Yes, they were in trouble to begin with. Marvin Gaye's family won that case, and by all rights, they should have won that case. So, why not just admit that you did what you did?
Yeah.
It's like saying I was too high at the time to really recall is not a defense.
Yeah.
The Twinkie defense doesn't work here. I'm sorry, people. And then oh, I didn't know I was infringing on somebody else's. Okay, just confess. Okay, you know what? Why don't I give you a very fair percentage of whatever that this is if I've used some of your work? Or here's an idea: credit them. Credit the family, because if this whole thing would have been in the first place, it's like, inspired by, credited by, then all of this whole debate would never have happened. It's the fact you're trying to play off an original, as though it was an original song.
Yeah.
It's no more original than Kid Rock's Sweet Home Alabama one, which combines two other songs.
Right.
It's not as though that, okay, if you were inspired by another person's song, why not just say it on the album? Music that was inspired by Marvin Gaye.
Yeah. Well, it's like those people that tried to sue George Harrison for My Sweet Lord.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there was a guitar riff in it that sounded a little bit like the guitar riff in their song, but I mean, it's a guitar riff, gang, okay? You don't get to sue for a guitar riff.
Yes, or the ones who tried to sue Coldplay for Viva La Vida. It's like,
yeah,
okay, if it was different enough, but this was a blatant, you can put the two songs side by side and practically hear one into another.
Exactly.
Just admit it. Say, whoopsie, give the percentage. I'm sure that both, it's like Robin Thicke and Pharrell Williams can afford it. Without too much pain on their side of paying a percentage of the copyrights over to that.
Yeah, just pay Marvin Gaye's family the money. Say, we're sorry.
Credit them.
You wrote a great song. Yeah, credit them. Give it. My God, Marvin Gaye didn't get the recognition he deserved when he was alive.
Exactly.
That doesn't give you the right to essentially hijack one of his songs for yourself.
Yes, and then claim that it's an original.
Yeah.
Not, like I said, why not just say influenced by Marvin Gaye? Inspired by Marvin Gaye?
Because they want to take his work and make it seem like theirs so they can be the, musical genius that he was.
Yeah. Only it's a sad thing, because it's like this thing is costing years of back and forthing, tons of money that could have all just been said and done if there would have just been a inspired by, or I'd like to thank a thank you to Marvin Gaye for inspiring this song.
Right, but if you're narcissistic enough to say, I did this, and then fight back and forth, and how can he dispute it with you? No, it's like, so it has to be, you have to go, like I said. So it's like I said, trying to take credit for somebody else's work that really can't defend it and say, no, I wrote that. Here's my original. It's like where I wrote it on. Here's a cocktail napkin where I wrote the song first, or wrote the music first, and
yeah.
So it's just, it's just, when you're trying to make yourself look good, and that you're some sort of musical genius or something.
That's right.
That's all it is.
It's a very simple thing. Just like in scripts, when you write a script, if you have other work that has inspired the script, credit the other work. It's like give the work where the work is due. It's credit.
Yeah, give credit. Yeah, it's like give credit where credit is due.
Exactly.
And that would eliminate all the problems. But when you start trying to sneak around, it's like, oh, well, maybe they won't notice that I used, used their piece of music, or maybe they won't notice that I used chapter 3 of their book in my movie. Yeah, that's when you try to sneak it past somebody.
Yeah.
You almost invariably get caught. Yes,
Right.
that's true.
Now, that all being said, if for some reason the person that's trying to take credit for it actually thought that it was their original work, maybe they heard it when they were 2 years old and didn't know who it was, or
Hmm.
somebody read it to them when they were 2 or 3 years old, and it just popped. They were doing something, and it just popped in there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's it's like that's a oops, and just say, well, no, I did it, and well, you might think you did, but if there's stuff to prove that, hey, this book was written, this song and this music was written, you know, 30 years ago, and you're only 20, so how did this happen?
Yeah. Well, and then there's also those things that do happen. And then at that point in time, you know what? You have to say, okay, I need to compensate the original. I didn't realize it. I didn't know. Now, there
Yeah.
are works that have fallen under the category of copyright infringement, like two people inspired by the same novel, like Dangerous Liaisons and Valmont, where they were both inspired by Dangerous Liaisons. They worked independently. They did not know of each other when they
Yeah,
had created the scripts.
Hmm.
Absolutely had no connections whatsoever. They tried to trace back if there was any connections between the two companies, the two writers, anything. Had anybody shown somebody else the work or anything like that? And no, there was no connections whatsoever.
just one of those truly bizarre coincidences.
Just
Yes,
a true fluke, and that
yes,
that can and does happen, but and that would take a little bit of proving. It's like because you both, like I said, you both think you did it the original work, so
hmm
it take a little bit of proving. But when you actually prove it, like on, oh, okay, so now what do we do?
Well, actually, both movies in that particular case got made, and they both were very quite successful.
Yeah,
And it's like whichever one you prefer. It's like personally, I love them both for different reasons. But the whole thing is that yeah, that is something that does happen. And you just gotta roll with it, kind of deal. So when it comes down to it, yeah, you may as well say it. It's like it's like if you've been inspired by somebody's work, you borrow some lines from somebody else's work, whatever it is, credit the person. If you're crediting them and you're saying you're not calling it originally my work by my work for me that I created, then if you're saying that it's your work, it was inspired by so and so's work, in conjunction with whatever, you're going to free yourself really of a lot of copyright issues. It's like, will the
yeah,
original author necessarily want you to use their work? That comes into a different debate.
indeed.
But then that becomes as long I have acknowledged that this is your work, and I want to compensate you for that work. If they like what they're seeing, sometimes they'll be like, "Meh." They come at least they credited me. They're not saying it's their work; they're saying it's mine, and I'm really happy with it. Other times they'll turn around and be like, "No, you have to remove my work from this altogether." Whether that actually comes to fruition, that again is a court thing. But if you're acknowledging, if the court will take into account that you've acknowledged the original work that was created, the only thing that they'll say is you didn't have permissions really to utilize the work, but if you were inspired by the work, as opposed to word for word plagiarizing the work,
Yeah, or note for note.
or note for
Right.
I mean,
note. So, things to keep in mind
yeah.
for all of those who are debating and catching up with all of us.
Yeah. And may I just take a moment to let everybody know that in a few weeks I'll be releasing my new hit single, very tragic song about a young man in Minnesota who hears his friends from the other side of the lake yodeling and realizes that they're yodeling to him to tell him his girlfriend is cheating on him. It's called I Heard It Through the Lake Line. It's a completely original song.
Yes. And how did he not know?
Yeah.
He only heard it through the lake line.
Yep.
It's like even the California Raisins were not sued. I believe that they tried to sue the whole thing of I heard it through the grapevine with the whole thing with the California Raisins. That was a little bit of a lawsuit back in the day, but that got all straightened out too.
Yeah.
The Raisins lost.
Yes, I was going to say, California Raisin Company paid through the nose.
Yes.
And most of those raisins didn't even have noses.
That's right. It was a very wrinkly situation. Exponentially. Which brings us to our next.
Yes. Put away that
big
green tea, folks. Get out a cup of coffee. You're going to want to stay awake for this because now it's about to get good.
Yep. The shizzle's about to get rizzle.
It's going to hit the fizzle.
Yep. Arpo, would you like to introduce the story to us?
Okay, well, on Wednesday, we reported about Harvey Weinstein being all upset about some story that the New York Times was planning to run about him.
I remember talking about that.
Yeah, but at the same time, he also joked about it, saying he wanted to buy the movie rights for it. He's not joking now.
Nope.
And now I know. Now I know why he wanted to buy the movie rights to it.
Yes.
And can I play myself?
Yes. And here is the answer to the question you've all been waiting for, folks.
Harvey Weinstein paid off sexual harassment accusers for decades.
Yep.
Not weeks, not months, not years. Decades.
Yep.
And even as we speak, Weinstein Company's board is planning to investigate sexual harassment complaints against him while he takes a leave of absence. Could Harvey Weinstein voted off the board of his own company? Stay tuned for it. But for right now, let's talk about the article in the New York Times. 2 decades ago, the Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein invited Ashley Judd to the Peninsula Beverly Hills Hotel for what the young actress expected to be a business breakfast meeting. Instead, he had her sent up to his room, where he appeared in a bathrobe and asked if he could give her a massage or if she could watch him shower, which left her thinking, how do I get out of the room as fast as possible without alienating Harvey Weinstein? At 14, Mr. Weinstein invited Emily Nestor, who had worked just one day, employee, to the same hotel and made another offer. If she accepted his sexual advances, he would boost her career, according to accounts that she provided to her colleagues. Here, once again at the Peninsula, he must really like that place.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
He finds
a female.
I guess he finds all the best prey there.
I guess. A female assistant said that Mr. Weinstein badgered her into giving him a massage while he was naked, leaving her crying and very distraught. It's a toxic environment for women in this country, Lauren O'Connor said in a letter that she sent to several executives at the company run by Mr. Weinstein, which just happens to bear his name.
Yes.
And now, the New York Times has found previously undisclosed allegations against Mr. Weinstein, stretching out nearly 3 decades. That's 30 years, folks.
Yep.
Documented through interviews with current and former employee and film industry workers, as well as legal records, emails, internal documents from the businesses he has run, Miramax and the Weinstein Company. And during that time, after being confronted with allegations, including sexual harassment and unwanted physical contact, Mr. Weinstein has reached at least 8 settlements with women, according to 2 company officials speaking on the condition of anonymity. Among the recipients, the Times found, were a young assistant in New York in 1990, an actress in 1997, an assistant in London in 1998, an Italian model in 2015, and Ms. O'Connor shortly after, according to records of those familiar with the agreements.
Yep.
In a statement to the Times on Thursday afternoon, Mr. Weinstein said, "I appreciate the way I've behaved with colleagues in the past has caused a lot of pain, and I sincerely apologize for it. Though I'm trying to do better, I know I have a long way to go." He added that he was working with therapists and planning to take a leave of absence to deal with this issue head on.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So it is just as bad as we thought.
Hmm. Sounds that way, yes.
Yeah, it's like,
I like this little quote from Lauren O'Connor's memo, by the way, because it really does spell out the pure definition of sexual harassment.
yes.
"I am a 28-year-old woman trying to make a living and a career. Harvey Weinstein is a 64-year-old world-famous man, and this is his company. The balance of power is me 0, Harvey Weinstein
Yep.
10.
And that's very scary. Because that means that literally under the thumb of that. And now my question is that, okay, one of them admitting, yeah, I did take advantage of his advances. Pretty. It's a bad art. It doesn't reflect really well there on Harvey Weinstein for obvious reasons, and yeah, but he's the one who's admitting that it's true. So that inspired yet another part of this whole Empire debacle. Would you like to read out part 2, Arpo? Just when you thought that.
Part 2. Just when you thought Harvey Weinstein you started to feel a little bit sorry for him.
Yep.
Because he, was contrite and apologetic about all the horrible things he's done.
Yep.
Harvey Weinstein to sue New York Times.
So I admit it and I understand it, but yet I'm going to sue you for it.
Yes.
Go on. Explain how this genius of a human being, this amazing Hukum, feels that he has been wronged.
His attorney, Charles Harder, this is the same guy as we discussed on Wednesday.
Yep.
That defended wrestler Hulk Hogan in the Gawker case.
Yep.
New York Times published today a story that is saturated with false and defamatory statements about Harvey Weinstein. It relies on mostly hearsay accounts and a faulty report apparently stolen from an employee personnel file, which has been debunked by 9 different eyewitnesses. We sent the Times the facts and evidence, but they ignored it and rushed to publish. We are preparing the lawsuit now. All proceeds will be donated to women's organizations. Well, wait a minute. Weinstein admitted it, and now he's saying, yeah, I did it, but I didn't do it.
That's right.
What?
I did it, but I did it under. It's like.
I did it, but I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
I did it, but I didn't inhale.
Yes.
I did it, but I didn't enjoy it.
Yes.
It's like, come on.
Wait a minute. I got it. I did it, but I'm sorry.
I did it, but I didn't want you to publish it, is what it is.
Yes.
I did it, but I had my fingers crossed, so it didn't count.
Yes.
Wait. No. I did it, and I'm sorry I got caught.
Yes.
There we go. That's it.
But really, I didn't.
But I paid all these women all kinds of money not to tell anyone.
Yes.
Man, that's broads for you, huh? Can't keep the mouth shut even when you bribe them to.
Even after all of that, it was one of those, okay. On top of that, it's the, yeah, I did it. Prove it.
Yeah.
Even though I'm going into rehab for this.
Weinstein has said that many of the claims in Liz O'Connor's memo were off base and that they had parted on good terms.
Oh, and let's not forget.
In other words,
yeah. Yes.
He paid her.
And let's not forget the other one that's also part of this equation, in case we're all forgetting. And on top of that, it's like that the newspaper that published this article has a vendetta against me.
Yes.
Right.
They're picking on me.
Yeah, they're out to get me, and they're making up stuff.
Yes, that I actually said.
They're making up stuff I actually said and did, and yes, they're out to get me.
Yes.
Harvey, I think you're confusing yourself with Donald Trump.
Yeah. It's like I think you're drinking the same Kool-Aid.
Reporting fake news.
Yes.
Well, basically, he is. I mean,
yes.
That's the whole point of his life, you think. And yet, oddly, it did. Mm-hmm. And there's all those payoffs that kind of sort of point to the fact that maybe you did something naughty you shouldn't have done, Harvey.
Yeah.
Well, but the money was to go to these women's causes to help them get educations or something.
Yeah. Okay. Here, let me save the women's organizations a lot of money. Then education. Okay, ladies, don't go to Harvey Weinstein's hotel room.
Yes. It's a bad place.
It's not a healthy environment for you.
Yeah, he's not there to offer you tea and crumpets.
Well, he is, but he expects something. It's like he's there to offer tea and crumpets, but he's expecting something in return.
Yes, he's not inviting you to a friendly tea.
No, it's very unfriendly tea.
Yes, don't drink the Kool-Aid. And isn't he a married dude?
No. That's a question worth investigating on the old standby IMDb.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. You're going, oh, I'm slow because you're all out of gigs. Oh.
So the gig is up?
Yep.
Yeah. Pretty much.
He's giggly. He's ungiggity.
has been married to Georgina Chapman since December 15th, 2007.
I thought so. I
So
would love
no
to know
wonder
what Georgina's.
he's not mad because they're lying. He's mad because he didn't want his wife to find out.
Because if she divorces his ass, then that company's she's gonna be one wealthy, nice woman.
Yeah,
Ya think?
indeed.
Yeah, I have my proclivities, but yet at the same time, I don't want my wife to know about them.
Yes, because that would be wrong.
Now, I also have to give a shout out of admiration there to Ashley Judd for being honest enough to talk about it.
Yes, to
That's
come forward. This is something that we have discussed about other a slightly different topic in Hollywood,
yes,
which is they're going to keep getting away with well,
trafficking and molestation in Hollywood.
trafficking and molestation, and there is we have no proof of it, but the word is there is a major pedophilia ring in Hollywood
There is.
made up of very major players in the studios, and well,
Yeah.
that's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
Uh,
And and like they say, the casting couch has never been something new. But it's
I've
very
got
oh, it's a very
Catherine McGee.
excellent. It's a very old concept, but at the same time, it's like, isn't it about time I would give up the couch and treat people properly in Hollywood?
Catherine made me a cookie.
Excellent. Because I had a ginormous cookie.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
This is
Hey,
right.
that's
Oh
not
my
fair.
God.
That's not
Oh my
fair.
God.
You got French fries. Now you get cookies. She got a lot of making up to do.
Yep.
Well, it's
She's gonna be
because I
doing a
came up
lot.
here.
She's gonna be doing a lot of cooking in a couple of weeks.
That's right. We won't even let Grayson in the kitchen. No, no, no. We want Catherine to cook.
Believe me, it would be a relief from where I'm at constantly.
Well, that's the whole thing. You're supposed to be on a little vacation
Yeah.
from having to be the mommy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like,
Oh, oh my
so,
God.
yes, for all, it's like for all of us out there, it's like, yes, it's one of those things of that we are going to have a great time. But, Arpo, before you stuff with more cookie, what is that
Yeah,
third part of the article?
that's right. Just when you think we're done, we're not. Experts are saying that Harvey Weinstein's response to this crisis is one of the worst they've ever seen. Why? Well, pretty much because of what we've just been talking about. First of all, Rich Levick, a crisis PR expert in Washington, D.C., said this was his one opportunity to speak to victims. It was one of the worst written apologies I've ever seen in a crisis situation.
God, he hasn't read what Donald Trump writes, has he?
Yeah, but I've done bad things. I'm going to try to do better, but it's going to be a long road. What?
Yeah.
But then what happens? As he's even as he's apologizing, He's hiring a sex harassment lawyer to help him demonstrate remorse while employing a media attack dog, Charles Harder, to go after the Times and sue them.
Yes. So then, are you really sorry?
Elizabeth Toledo, president of Camino PR, says this will be a strategy that continues to position him as someone who's out of touch. I think out of touch is putting it mildly.
Yeah.
Well, but he is sorry. He really and truly is sorry. He got caught.
Yep. And that they actually printed the article. He is sorry about that.
Yep.
Toledo went on to say that Weinstein seems to believe that he can continue to buy his way into good PR by supporting liberal causes.
Yes.
That will not work this time, she says. This is a moment to stop and truly change course. He's got to indicate a true understanding of the abuse and the damage that people are talking about. It can't be about him personally. It's got to be about the people he harmed. It is not about his personal journey. It is not about his personal reformation. It is not about his political priorities. It's not about the NRA or the place he had his bar mitzvah. This is about women.
Yes. It is about women, but also at the same time, for Harvey Weinstein, it is all about Harvey Weinstein. And how everybody's doing him wrong.
That's right. And that's been his entire life. His entire life, or at least his entire career, has been about Harvey Weinstein.
Yes. In order to be able to do that, and that does sound like a very 12-step thing when they're talking about that, making amends to others, you have to be able to acknowledge that what you did not only was wrong, but that you actually believe it to be wrong. And have to be willing to make amends. This sounds like exactly the I'm going to say I'm sorry because the man behind me with his finger up my butt is a puppeteer is telling me I must say I am sorry. I truly am sorry. I can be better. It's like, how can one be better? You either are, or it's a shift of mindset and behavior. It's not a go ahead and, this isn't the, I decided that I was going to, splash water at somebody. Do the ice bucket challenge in the middle of the mall.
Yes.
And somebody slipped and fell. This isn't.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? It doesn't end there.
Oh, go on.
End there. Because it appears that Weinstein had months to prepare a response to the allegations.
Ah.
Power team of advisors to help him navigate the situation. In addition to Bloom and Harder, he also hired Washington, D.C. crisis expert Lanny Davis. We all remember him from the sex scandals. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Yupper.
Who famously counsels clients to tell their side of the story as fully as possible.
Yep.
Well,
epic fail.
Richard Levick says, I'm hoping for Lanny's sake that he didn't follow Lanny's advice. There seems to be neither strategy nor sincere remorse. You see too many chefs in the kitchen. To the extent they have any strategy, it's all falling apart.
What strategy can you use? Other than admitting, yes, I did it. And he's not even remorsefully sorry that he did. There isn't it's like money cannot compensate for his behaviors. You want to show contrition. Why not show contrition by doing acts of goodness, like going to the people directly who you made this error with and apologizing to them.
You mean instead of threatening to sue the newspaper?
Yes.
We think that maybe there is a strategy behind this. Just when you think the story's over. Just when you think it's over. Several experts doubted that Weinstein his threat to sue the paper, saying it would be foolish to open himself up to discovery. Instead, it's possible he is seeking to intimidate other women from coming forward. From a personal reputation point of view, suing the New York Times only serves one purpose: the story alive. That saber-rattling strategy just isn't going to work. But it might scare off other women from stepping forward. Oh my God, he's threatening to sue the New York Times. What'll he do to me?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I encourage other women to please step forward. From one woman to another. There is nothing wrong with stepping forward. If it's true. That's the whole thing. If it is provable and it is true, no amount of money will compensate your self-esteem and your pride.
Right. And just because he's going to sue the New York Times doesn't mean he's going to win.
Exactly. And perhaps he feels that he yields much more power in Hollywood than he does.
Yep, but like I said, as I said, if he's going to, if he thinks by saying that he's going to sue the paper, that it's going to keep other women from coming forward, whether he wins or loses the case, if there's other women out there that could come forward and prove that they were, harassed, the more that come forward, the more chance of him not winning, against the newspaper, or him being, whether even if he wins the case with the newspaper, if enough women come forward that underwent harassment from him, and it can be proven, it doesn't matter whether he wins or loses the newspaper case, because enough women come forward, he gets charged with it. Gets charged with it.
Yeah. And unfortunately, end of the day, it's like it does not make it a win-win situation. These women have been damaged, and no amount of money, like I said, can be compensated for it. So, yeah, you may as well step forward.
That's right.
Yeah, it's like don't step forward. It's like don't step. It's like, don't step forward with the idea that you're going to get money out of it. Step forward with the idea that you are going to that you are facing your accuser or the harasser, and if enough step forward, something may actually be done.
Yeah.
You may not get a penny out of it, but you get the satisfaction of knowing that I was wronged by him, and he paid the ultimate price. He had to. He winds up in jail because of it. And whether you get any money or not out of it, at least you get the satisfaction knowing you helped put him in jail where he belonged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is far more compensation.
And if the allegations are true, if it really happened, if it is all true, then you help to put him where he actually belongs.
Yes. So we're all encouraging that.
Yeah.
And like I said, kudos to those who did step forward and say it.
Exactly.
And Harvey Weinstein, the best thing you can do at this point, just own up to it. like a man.
Yeah.
Because if you try to bully your way through this, like you've bullied your way through Hollywood for the past 30 years of your career, you're not going to win.
Yeah.
You're
In
just
this,
going to make it that much worse for yourself.
yeah. In this particular case, it's like it's not a matter of a win or lose. It's a matter of that these are people's lives who are being screwed around with. And it's really a shame that it comes down to, oh, well, I did my bad, mea culpa to me. It's like it's not a matter of that. It's a sign of sickness in Hollywood, amongst many
And
things.
it's not enough. And the other thing too is it's not enough just to say, okay, yes, you're right. I did a bad thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That means nothing. You have to mean it. And then you disappear and you go into counseling and you do what you have to do.
To make that amends.
Yes.
And as far as financial or any kind of, monetary gains from coming forward, if nothing else, you, if you gain uh, therapy from it, maybe, maybe you can't afford therapy, so you can't go, but maybe that it would wind up being part of the court
Settlement.
case. The settlement is like, okay, we're going to set you up with a really good, therapist, psychiatrist, or both,
Hmm.
to help you move past this, you know, horrible thing that happened to you.
Yeah.
You don't get any money out of it, but at least you get past it, get to face your harasser, put
Yeah.
them where they belong, and get the help you need to, you know, live
Move
out the
on.
rest of your live out your rest of your life without being, having issues with it.
Yep. So it's something to think about.
Yes.
Like,
And watch your step, Harvey, because I don't think your board of directors is real happy with you right
no. This is not the situation with Harvey Weinstein as it is with Ryan Kavanaugh. It's like with Ryan, it's a different situation of that he got screwed over by people who he trusted. But it's like in this particular case, you're screwing over people who trusted you.
now. Yes.
These
You
women
don't
who
want to
came,
be you don't want to suffer the Steve Jobs syndrome
yeah,
of being fired by your own company.
yeah. So that is something that is a very frightening reality, though, too. As a warning to women in Hollywood, again, we all want, you want your fame. Be aware of who you are doing business with. Note who you are doing business with because it may not be the kind of person who you want to do business with.
Absolutely.
And in this particular case, if somebody is saying, can we meet in a hotel room? Use a little bit of streetwise common sense and say, no, I would prefer to meet in a neutral location. If this is an inconvenient time, can come back at another time.
Yes.
And I'm
Now,
not,
if they were to say, if he was like, "Hey, can you meet me in the lobby?" Okay, he's busy. He's at a hotel, and it's like, "Can you meet me in the lobby?" And or can you meet me in the restaurant, the hotel lobby? Okay, that's not something to really throw red flags up. But hey, come to my hotel room? No, nope, bad idea.
yeah. In general, if a producer asks you, can you come to my hotel room? Chances are the meeting's not about the film.
No, that's what I said.
Unless
If
unless it is auditions that are in a hotel room, and with the auditions being in a hotel room, it has to be like basically a group of people auditions, like group auditions
right,
that you would be going to.
right. No, so like I said, yeah, if they say in numbers, if they say lobby, hotel, restaurant, meet me at 7 or whatever, yeah, that's acceptable.
Yeah, that's the safe bet.
That's a safe that's a safe bet. That's a safer bet. Now they can still try to get you. They could say, "Well, we got to go up to the room to get this or that or whatever." You know, doesn't mean that it couldn't wind up trying to be something, but at least, like I said,
Safety
lobby.
wise, you could always turn around and say, if somebody needs to go up to their hotel room after they've been in the restaurant with you and said, "Oh shoot, I forgot something up in the hotel room," great, I'll wait down here.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll wait down here. I can't wait to carry on the conversation. Or, oh, you have to get going? Well, so I also have another appointment, but we'll talk very soon.
Yes. Have an excuse. Have a reason. Don't let them talk you into going somewhere you don't want to go.
Yeah.
Unless it's with other people that and it's not just you and one on one going up. Bad idea, because it could turn to a way you don't want it to. If it's like, hey, why don't you and your friends come on up to the room, or something like that? Yeah, maybe. If you got people and trust going with you.
Yeah. But it's better to weigh on the side of caution and say, no, thank you. We can meet if it's an inconvenient time, we can meet at another time. Because believe me, if they actually want you for the part, like for real want you for the part, they won't mind rescheduling the meeting.
That's right.
Exactly.
It's like, and again, always meet in a public place. Make sure you have alerted at least one person, if not more, about where your location is at any given time. And just because he says, "Hey, it's like let's continue this upstairs," does not mean let's continue this upstairs. A lot of times that means, yeah, let's continue this upstairs.
The proper response to that is, no, let's continue it right here.
Yeah, or you know what? It's getting late. Thank you. I'll, be happy to take another meeting with you at a different time. Obviously, you are in a hurry. It's a wrong timing to continue our meeting. We can take another meeting at a different time.
Hit the button on your phone to make your phone go off, take it out of your pocket, say, oh my God, I've got to go. My grandmother just got rushed to the hospital.
Any excuse that you can use. Shoot, my children just texted me. They need me.
Or even a better excuse, my babysitter just texted me to get her the hell away from my children.
Yeah.
Right. Or if you're going to a hotel lobby or a hotel restaurant, if it's like, hey, meet here in this lobby or in the restaurant, have a friend go with you. The friend can sit on the opposite side of can sit away from you. You can have your meeting with them. If it gets to be a questionable thing, just work out some sort of a subtle signal to your friend that they can walk over and say, "Hey, I'm sorry, but we have to go. You know, my house is on. Whatever excuse. It's like my babysitter's got to leave. I'm sorry."
And you promised you were going to take me to the Palisades.
Yeah. Any one of the 50,000 excuses.
Right.
oh my God, it's like even you can pretend, it's like what you can do is also work out a signal of, I don't know that you're here. And then it's like, oh my God, oh my God, it's so good to see you. You know, I didn't even
Well,
realize you were here.
yeah, it's like I don't know that that would go over well if you're trying to audition for a part or talking about a part or something.
Again,
To start talking to a friend, but like I said, the friend could go with you. That they
yep,
see you come in with the friend. The friend goes over and sits on the other side. You're able to have your meeting with the
exactly.
person with the person. And if they say, "Well, let's go up to my room," okay. Oh, hold on. Let me get. It's like, let me get my friend. You signal to your friend. Your friend comes over, and maybe it's a male friend, not a male friend, not a female friend. Your male friend comes over.
Yep,
You go up to the
Sure,
room.
it's a female friend. The producer may be thinking, "Oh, my lucky day!"
Right. It's like a male friend. It's like then you go up there, and if the meeting's in the room, your male friend stands in the doorway, door open. Go in. Okay, go in. Have your meeting. Show her what you want to show her that you needed to show her.
yep,
That's how you would have a safe encounter if it was at a hotel. You take a
Yeah.
male friend with you as the buffer, and
yep,
he can sit on the other. He can sit, couple three. He can sit away if it's in the restaurant. Sit at two or three tables away. All you gotta do is just wave at him and say, "Hey, come here." Okay, let's go up to your room. You go up to
And
your room. Male friend stands in the door. Door open. There you go.
yep.
I'm just going to go out on a limb here and just say, whatever else, if it's the Peninsula Island Hotel, just say no.
Yeah. Just say no anyhow, unless you absolutely know that this is 100% a business conversation, because you really don't need it to be an alternative conversation.
True.
That's right. And I refuse to believe that hotel employees did not know what was going on,
Yeah. And I must
because
reiterate,
folks,
yes.
hotel employees know everything that goes on in the hotel.
Yeah, they do. And again, safety wise, no matter who it is, they could be the biggest name in Hollywood. Don't go up to the hotel room. Really, if it's that important a meeting, there's so many neutral places that can be met at. Nobody is that much of a personality that cannot be seen in a lobby in a hotel, since everybody knows that they're going to stay there anyway. Because again, very few
Right.
secrets in Hollywood of where people
Right.
stay at.
Yes.
Use the safety first approach.
Right.
If somebody says, I want to go to the hotel room, you know what? Consider that your signal for the our meeting is done for now. And it's like obviously they need to reschedule.
Just think about this, the base of logic. You're dealing with a Hollywood producer.
Yeah.
Hollywood. Why
Yep.
would he have a hotel room?
Well,
I can only think of one reason.
unless they live, you know, way far out, and they have because I do know there are some businesses and business people that they live, two couple hours out away from their actual office, and they have a hotel room because they stay in town during the week and then go home on the weekends. So it is possible for them to have a hotel room that they are actually living in.
Yes.
That is
So the
possible.
only reason why is, man, talk about the perfect marriage.
I'm sorry you cut out for me. I didn't understand you.
Everybody's speaking. I said, you'd only see your wife on the weekend and talk about the perfect marriage. Everybody would be happy, potentially.
Yeah, well, like I said, again, bottom line is that if the situation sounds inconvenient, it probably is.
It's like use the stranger danger rules.
I apologize.
Yes.
I apologize if I put this down to the gutter. But, I mean, hard to put it there. So
Yes. And like I said, that to all of those women who unfortunately are victims of this, again, encourage you, come forward, name the names, because you know what, now that his name has been mentioned, it will how is the best way to put it, keep everybody mindful of when taking meetings with him in business.
yes, and another thing,
Male and female.
too. Okay, people have been saying can't talk about certain things that happen in Hollywood because there are really big people involved. Well, there's nobody in Hollywood who's much bigger than Harvey Weinstein. So
Yeah.
if he can go down, anybody can go down.
True.
Yep. And speaking of food, so then that way you can get back to your cookie. Arpo, how do they get you in social media?
Before that, we've had another loss in the entertainment world.
Yes.
And this is a guy who used to get me laughing so hard I could hardly breathe. Ralphie May, who was robbed of winning the last comic standing. He placed second. He deserved to place first. Has passed away of cardiac failure. He was 45. He'd been struggling with pneumonia, but still doing his act. A trooper to the end. And
Yes.
he will be missed. He was an outstanding comic.
Yep.
So
He definitely will be missed.
I got knocked in the head once there. I forget. How do they contact? Oh, yeah. You can contact me on Facebook if you want to be social. You can contact me on LinkedIn if you want to talk some business. And if you just want to chat, you can always contact me on Skype. But make sure to let me know that you are a fan of Movietime, because I get way too many from Armenian women who want to marry me and robots who want my charge card number.
Excellent. And right now that charge card doesn't work. We canceled all your charge cards. So, Olaf, how do they get in touch with you in social media?
Well, it's like I have one other thing. Another who had a loss today was found out before the show that my aunt passed away. Not in the not in the entertainment industry, but a wonderful woman. And it's like so. It's like
Look at that! You made Grayson so sad she disappeared.
I see that. Oh my gosh. Anyway, beautiful woman. It's like great, really great person. Loved by all that knew her. It's like so she will be missed. But anyway, you can.
I am truly sorry for your loss.
Oh, thank you. It's like you can stalk me on both Facebook and Twitter at Olaf Barbosa. And as I say, it's like just don't stalk too close because I do get nervous and I do have an itchy trigger finger.
And if Grayson was still here,
yeah,
pointing out that you can find her on Facebook, you can find her on Twitter, you can find her on Slated, you can find her on LinkedIn, you can find her on DCMF, you can find her just on Past Lives Productions Inc. You can find her on Indiegogo, which our campaign is going up this week, folks, and we're really, really, really pushing hard to get everything. And with 4 pages of footprint, if you can't find her,
you're not trying hard enough. There we go.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You're not trying hard enough.
Thank goodness, because as I was saying all that, I said, "Oh, wait a minute, we can't end the show because she has pushed the button."
Yep.
Hold up, and I could have been stuck here all night.
Well, there you go. I had an error 21 that came on. So if anybody also knows what an error 21 message is for all of us who are recording on YouTube and also our other podcasting stations, please feel free to let us know that as soon as possible. And with that, we will say have a wonderful evening, and we will see you again on Wednesday.
Thanks for listening.
Watch out behind you. Oh, my God.